Well, obviously, we're sitting here right by the horseshoe and on a campus that you called home.
I've walked these. They weren't as nice as they are now, but I have walked these walkways many a time.
And that's where I want to take this conversation to now. Is who recruited you to the University of South Carolina?
The coach that recruited me was Bill Loving,
Wow.
who's not with us anymore. But he spent a lot of time with me. He lived right across the street from Dreher High School, where I went to school. And Charlie Henderson, who was a coach at Keenan High School, they spent a lot of time with me, and then just spending time with Frank McGuire. He was a character. He was legendary. He was one of a kind, and he was the one that won me over. Bill Loving spent the time recruiting.
Sure,
as you know, recruiters,
sure.
they spent the time, taking you out and showing you everything. But just being able to talk with Frank McGuire, listen to him, that was the thing that won me over. And he said we could make history here by you coming here, being the number one player in the state, and coming to the university. We feel that would encourage more African American players to come, and it did. Casey Manning who was my roommate. He kind of made it easy for me, and in turn I made it easy for the Herbert Insmingers, the goalie Augustus, the Nate Davis, and all the players that you have now, the African American players. It wasn't, South Carolina was not an easy place to come back then. So somebody needed to start it, and I felt like I was a part of it.
That's awesome, and I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I wanted to connect was, the job Don Staley's done on our campus with basketball.
Yes.
And someone that walked in your shoes on this campus with your profile at the time you chose to come to school here, and Asia Wilson. And we just finished the Olympics.
Oh, I love it.
And you came here, and one of the most powerful things I've seen was when Asia was speaking about her statue, and she was speaking about her grandmother couldn't walk.
That's right.
On this campus back in the day, and now her statue's there.
That's right.
And you kind of bridged that gap. I shouldn't say you did bridge that gap for people of color locally to feel proud to come here and represent this university in a basketball way. Is that
Frank, I had a very similar experience that Asia's grandmother had. My elementary school was on the other side of this campus, over where the wellness center is.
Okay.
It was a elementary school called Celia Saxon. I lived on this side of town, Barnwell and Gervais. And to get from my school to my home, I had to go around the campus as well. And I can remember once being on the campus, little boy in the 6th grade, stopping at a street down here on Pendleton and I don't know the other cross street, but stopping at the street light, and this group of white kids come up, they drive and they stop and they see us over there waiting on the light, and one kid jumped out and ran over to me and hit me as hard as he could in my face and jumped back in his car, and they took off. And I realized how powerless I was to be able to do anything about it. There was nothing I could do. So we went on home. I cried the whole way. And I remembered that when the time came for me to choose my university that I was going to play for.
Wow.
And I wanted to be able to be a part of changing the history and actions like that at this university. So there were a lot of people before me, but and it keeps going on. It keeps going on, and the fact that now when you look at most of the football, basketball teams, they're predominantly men of color.
Yes.
And you didn't see that when I played. When I played, it was Casey Manning and I.
Wow.
So it's changed, and it's still changing, and there's a lot more work to do. But I wanted to be a part of, because I know my city is a beautiful city, and I wanted to be a part of making people feel welcome here, and being an example and say, hey, come and just check it out. and hopefully just at the same time, changing the minds of some of the politicians and the people that make the state operate, and make them understand and see that we're not going back in the bottle. You know, it's not going back in the genie's can. This is the way it is, and we just might as well just start learning how to live with each other, accepting each other, and accepting each other's issues, and making South Carolina and the world better by eliminating some of the things that happen here.
You know, it's you share that story, and we spoke about Asia's grandmother and her
Yes.
journey, and the one thing.
And I'm so proud of Asia
Oh,
and
it's
Dawn
incredible.
and
It's unbelievable.
and Alicia Gray, and what they've done in the Olympics this year, especially Asia, because I played against her father, and I just remember her being a little girl and her blossoming into, and she was like the main reason why they won a gold medal, because she was just dominant,
She's incredible.
incredible.
And I was going. That's why we started the conversation on this topic, because of the doors that you stepped up to change, and the doors that she stepped into and continued to help
That's
grow.
right. That's right.
One of the things this university, and now you're an active board of trustee member.
Yes.
And which I think is awesome. And one of the things this university doesn't publicize the way it should, it graduates African Americans at the top 3% of all universities across the country.
Yes, it does.
And to hear those stories from not too long ago and know kind of where we're at, that's that progress that you're talking about, and the impact that someone like you has been able to make here. And that's me being an adopted son now. I've been here long enough, I'm adopted.
Yeah.
It's awesome to be a part of that. It's awesome to be somewhere where people care about growth.
Right.
And there's people like yourself that are so active in continuing to represent this university with its good and its faults,
Yes.
but push to help it continue to grow. And I think it's awesome.
Well, thank you.
I think it's powerful.
How important it is for us all to be able to live together and accept one another, because once we get rid of the politics, once we get rid of the race, we get rid of the religion. You cut the skin open, we're all the same color.
Exactly right.
And we all have hearts, we all feel, and that's what we've got to get to. Now, we haven't gotten there yet, but we're slowly getting there, and I feel that I will always be a part of trying to make that happen. Whether I do or not, I will always try and do my part.
That's phenomenal.